London, 1660s. Phoenix from the ashes. Step into London, 1667. Before your eyes stretches an impossible sight. A titan literally rising from its own grave. Street by street, church by church, house by house. This isn't just construction, it's revolution carved in brick and stone. This is the story of how history's most catastrophic urban disaster became the catalyst for creating the world's most modern city. In 1666, a tiny spark in the city's heart devoured 1,000 years of history in just 4 days. But this apocalypse would also ignite one of history's greatest urban transformations. In this video, we use cutting-edge AI tools to resurrect historic paintings and maps, shifting perspectives and moving through scenes in ways their original artists never could. We're not just observing the past, we're stepping into it, walking those streets, witnessing the birth pangs of the modern world. Chapter 1. Medieval London's Final Hours. September 1666. We're stepping into pre-fire London, still trapped in its medieval cage. Narrow, twisted streets barely wide enough for a cart. Buildings leaning so close their upper floors kiss. The air thick with smoke from thousands of chimneys, horse dung, rotten fish from the Thames, and unwashed bodies crammed into impossible spaces. This London was an organism that had grown layer by layer since Roman times. No master plan existed, only centuries of accumulated needs and desperate solutions. On Pudding Lane, a narrow, mud-soaked artery, Thomas Farren, or the King's baker, had just pulled his bread from the oven. At 2 a.m., he forgot to extinguish his fire. This tiny oversight was about to rewrite world history. Above, the colossal Gothic spire of old St. Paul's Cathedral pierced the sky, 49 meters of pure pride. London's crown jewel dominated every view, but the narrow streets below formed a perfect tinderbox. Each lane had its own character. Paternoster Row with its booksellers, Ave Maria Lane with its craftsmen, Amen Corner with its scribes. The city was a medieval maze, and it was about to become a furnace. But what transformed a bakery fire into an inferno that would reshape civilization itself? Chapter 2. 4 Days of Apocalypse. Sunday night, September 2nd. When Thomas Farren woke, flames were already devouring his ground floor. He escaped with his family across the rooftops, but his maid Rose, paralyzed by terror, became the first victim. Nobody suspected this was the beginning of a civilization's end. The summer of 1666 had been brutally dry. Timber buildings had become tinder, thatched roofs perfect kindling. A vicious east wind was about to turn London into nature's blast furnace. By Monday dawn, the fire had crossed Fish Street Hill, reaching Thames Street. Here, the beast changed its nature entirely. This riverside artery housed massive stores of coal, gunpowder, oil and spirits. What began as a house fire had mutated into an industrial catastrophe. Tuesday night brought the unthinkable. Guildhall's 600-year-old roof collapsed in a shower of medieval history. The cathedral's lead roof melted into rivers of molten metal flowing through ancient streets. Stone walls exploded from impossible heat. Then came Wednesday's horror. Old St. Paul's spire, London's symbol for centuries, crashed down in a firework display of sparks and rubble. London's skyline had changed forever. The city lay in ruins. But from this chaos, something unprecedented was about to emerge. Chapter 3. Christopher Wren's revolutionary vision. Just 6 days after the flames died, 34-year-old astronomy professor Christopher Wren dropped a bombshell on King Charles II's desk. This wasn't a repair plan. It was a blueprint to transform London into the Rome of the North. Wren envisioned grand boulevards radiating from central points, geometrically perfect squares and streets so wide that fire could never leap across them again. His plan would create the world's first truly modern city. But reality had other plans. Property owners refused to surrender their land. Money was scarce. People needed homes immediately. Wren's complete vision remained a dream, but what did emerge was revolutionary. The Building Act of 1667, modern urban planning's birth certificate. Wooden construction was now forbidden. Only brick and stone would rise from London's ashes. Street widths became standardized, building heights regulated, firewalls mandatory between properties. London wasn't just rebuilding, it was writing the world's first modern building code. By 1670, walking down the emerging King Street revealed the transformation: fresh brick facades rising in perfect symmetry, wider pavements, proper foundations. The air filled with limestone dust and the symphony of hundreds of craftsmen creating tomorrow's world. But the real revolution was yet to come. Chapter 4. St. Paul's Cathedral. Engineering the impossible. From the Gothic cathedral's ashes would rise Wren's masterpiece, a dome to rival Rome's St. Peter's. But Wren, now 43, had never built anything remotely this ambitious. His solution was pure genius: the double dome system. What visitors would see a magnificent outer dome concealed the structural reality, an inner dome actually supporting the weight, with a hidden brick cone between them. Secret staircases wound through this invisible architecture. At the summit, a massive stone lantern somehow balanced perfectly atop 365 feet of precisely calculated engineering. Construction crews imported specially cut Portland stone from Dorset, each block numbered, each measurement exact. By 1697, when the dome was finally complete, Wren was 65. Standing inside for the first time, visitors found themselves dwarfed by mathematical perfection made manifest. Light streamed down from impossible heights, while whispers carried mysteriously around the whispering gallery. London had its new crown, but the real transformation was happening at street level. Chapter 5. Coffee House Revolution. Democracy in a cup. While the city rebuilt physically, it was also reconstructing socially. By 1675, over 3,000 coffee houses had sprouted across London. These weren't just drinking establishments, they were the world's first information networks. Step into Lloyd's Coffee House on Lombard Street. Tobacco smoke mingles with coffee aromas. Sea captains argue with merchants over shipping news from the Indies. Scientists debate Newton's latest theories while bankers negotiate fortunes. Maritime insurance is being born at one table, modern journalism at another. At Jonathan's Coffee House, stock trading creates the world's first organized securities market. Garraway's hosts property auctions. Each establishment becomes a specialized hub of commerce and ideas. Social classes mix freely for the first time in English history. But these coffee houses weren't just commercial. They were incubating democracy itself. The 1679 Popish Plot, the 1685 Monmouth Rebellion, the 1688 Glorious Revolution, all were discussed, shaped and spread through this caffeine-powered network. How was this humble beverage reshaping the foundations of modern society? Chapter 6. Monument. Where science meets memory. Rising 220 feet into London's new skyline stands the monument, but Christopher Wren and Robert Hooke had hidden an extraordinary secret inside this memorial. The monument wasn't just commemorating the Great Fire. Its hollow interior concealed a giant pendulum experiment designed to measure gravity. The spiral staircase itself was part of the apparatus. At the top, telescopes and astronomical instruments turned the memorial into a working observatory. Climbing those 311 steps in 1680 reveals London's transformation from above, the new Royal Exchange to the east, stone quays stretching along the Thames, St. Paul's Dome rising majestically westward. The monument embodied London's new philosophy, combining memory of the past with scientific exploration of the future. Chapter 7. Streets of Tomorrow. The Building Act hadn't just changed buildings, it had revolutionized the entire urban fabric. Walking Fleet Street in 1680 reveals the transformation: uniform brick facades, proper pavements, effective gutters. For the first time in London's history, buildings looked like they belonged to the same century. New streets cut in straight lines: King Street, Queen Street, Prince Street. These weren't just wider, they were designed to prevent fire spread while facilitating commerce. The old practice of jetties, upper floors hanging over streets, was forever banned. Cheapside's rebirth exemplified the change. Medieval chaos replaced by symmetrical facades, uniform window spacing, consistent roof lines. This wasn't Reconstruction, it was urban revolution. Chapter 8. Guildhall Reborn. Ancient foundations, modern vision, the city's political heart received perhaps the most symbolic treatment. Wren preserved the medieval Guildhall's foundations and crypts, while constructing an utterly modern superstructure above. Entering the new Guildhall in 1675 means stepping into architectural time travel. Soaring Wren-designed ceilings, crown spaces, where the city's most crucial decisions unfold. Beneath your feet lie Roman foundations, connecting London's deepest past with its ambitious future. The Great Hall hosts ceremonial dinners, guild meetings, court sessions. Medieval walls support modern engineering. Natural light flows through scientifically positioned windows, while acoustically calculated proportions ensure every word carries perfectly. Chapter 9. Thames Waterfront. Maritime Revolution. The fire had obliterated London's ancient wooden wharves, but what rose in their place transformed the city's relationship with the world. The new custom house, built under Wren's guidance, embodied this change. Classical proportions housed efficient storage systems and secure offices. This wasn't just a customs facility, it was the command center of England's expanding global trade. Billingsgate Market emerged from chaos into organization. Instead of medieval disorder, purpose-built stalls provided proper drainage, covered areas, and improved hygiene. The rebuilt stone quays could handle the massive increase in international shipping. Standing on these new waterfront structures in 1678 means witnessing globalization's birth. Virginia tobacco, East Indian spices, and silk, Baltic timber for ongoing construction. Medieval disorder had become commercial precision. Chapter 10. Royal Exchange. Capitalism's Cathedral. Sir Thomas Gresham's original Royal Exchange lay in ruins, but Edward German's replacement, built with Wren's consultation, would surpass its predecessor entirely. Entering this commercial cathedral in 1670 reveals marble columns supporting painted ceilings decorated with maritime themes. Hundreds of merchants conduct business in dozens of languages. Ground floor textile dealers, first floor goldsmiths, upper gallery insurance brokers and ship owners, each level specialized for different trades. The new exchange wasn't just larger, it was infinitely more sophisticated. Separate commercial zones, enhanced lighting, improved acoustics, fire-resistant construction. Nearby coffee houses provided information networks, while banking services facilitated international correspondence. Modern capitalism's infrastructure was crystallizing. Chapter 11. Lives transformed. Physical transformation was reshaping human lives. Master carpenters found themselves in unprecedented demand, working on Europe's most prestigious buildings while learning advanced techniques from Dutch and Italian craftsmen. Widowed women opened coffee houses, serving clientele ranging from Caribbean sea captains to natural philosophers, discussing Newton's revelations. Merchants negotiated deals worth fortunes while Christopher Wren occasionally appeared, checking nearby construction progress. Tradespeople, bricklayers, masons, glaziers, plumbers, experienced unprecedented prosperity, rising wages, improving techniques, increasing social mobility. Many craftsmen working on the rebuilding established themselves as prosperous business owners. Chapter 12. Cultural Renaissance. Physical rebuilding catalyzed cultural transformation. The Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, opened in 1674, reviving London's dramatic traditions. Composers like Henry Purcell created works for new venues. The scientific community expanded exponentially. Royal Society meetings now occupied purpose-built spaces. Christopher Wren, Robert Hooke, Isaac Newton, Edmund Halley all worked, thought, and discovered in this transformed London. Women's opportunities multiplied. Coffeehouse ownership, retail trade, money lending post-fire economic expansion created unprecedented social possibilities. Chapter 13. Birth of modern urban life. By the 1680s, distinctly modern metropolitan lifestyle was emerging. Prosperous merchants began their days with coffee at Lloyd's, conducted afternoon business at the Royal Exchange, spent evenings at theatres or private clubs. This routine would seem familiar to any contemporary city dweller. New residential developments reflected revolutionary urban concepts. Red Lion Square, developed in the 1680s, became one of London's first planned residential squares. Uniform houses surrounding a central garden, regulated by covenant to maintain architectural harmony. The template for London's famous Georgian squares was born. Evening walks through these neighbourhoods revealed further innovations. Early street lighting using oil lamps, watchmen patrolling wider, straighter streets. The medieval fear of urban fire was finally fading. Chapter 14. International recognitions. By the 1680s, rebuilt London attracted global attention. Foreign diplomats marveled at wide streets, uniform architecture, and efficient commercial districts. The city was becoming a model for European urban planning. Visiting dignitaries from Paris, walking the new Cheapside encountered something unprecedented. Proof that rational planning could create both beauty and functionality. The new St. Paul's Dome, visible for miles, announced to the world that this city had emerged stronger and more magnificent from catastrophe. Chapter 15. Legacy of Innovation. London's post-1666 rebuilding established principles that would influence urban planning for centuries. Cities could be rationally planned, building codes could prevent disasters, public health and safety could be built into urban fabric. All these concepts originated in post-fire London. Christopher Wren, walking through his transformed city in 1710 at age 78, witnessed something unprecedented in human history. St. Paul's Cathedral finally complete, 51 new parish churches dotting the skyline, thousands of uniform brick houses lining widened streets. The medieval city of his youth had become something entirely new. Social changes proved equally profound. Coffeehouse culture had created new forms of public discourse. The insurance industry, born in Lloyd's, was revolutionizing commerce. Private property rights and public regulation were working together to create urban prosperity. Conclusion: the modern world's true birth. By 1685, London had shed its medieval skin entirely. Uniform brick facades, widened streets, proper drainage, building regulations, functionally organized commercial districts, social spaces, mixing different classes. Every element of modern urban life had emerged from 1666's ashes. Standing on Ludgate Hill in 1685, looking east toward the city, you'd witness the birth of our world. St. Paul's great dome rising majestically behind you, uniform streets stretching toward the Thames, the monument piercing the sky like an exclamation point of human resilience. Everywhere, the bustle of a city that hadn't just survived catastrophe, it had used destruction as the foundation for something entirely unprecedented. London rising from 1666's wasn't just rebuilt, it was completely reimagined. In countless ways it created the template for modern urban life we still recognize today. From medieval chaos's ashes emerged order, beauty, and functionality that would influence city planning for centuries to come. This rebuilding transformed not just buildings but how Londoners understood themselves and their city. For the first time in history, a city was deliberately designed for the future. This vision laid the foundations of modern metropolitan life. The Great Fire was terrible, thousands homeless, livelihoods destroyed, irreplaceable historical treasures lost forever. But catastrophe also created innovation opportunities that might never have existed otherwise. Sometimes destruction becomes creation's catalyst. London 1666 remains the perfect example. Standing here, looking back across these moments, the past feels remarkably close. These streets, these decisions, these innovations shaped our world. Through these reconstructions, we glimpse what it felt like to witness the modern city's birth from the medieval world's ashes. The phoenix that rose from London's fire didn't just survive, it soared higher than anyone thought possible. And in its flight, It showed humanity what cities could become. If there's another city, another moment in time, or another historic transformation you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments. Let's continue building this journey into the past together.